And it's knife time. Today is not about a particular knife. Today is I had to get out to the wilderness today. There's a little what's left of an old shack from a long time ago, I'd imagine. I'm out in the middle of nowhere, and I just wanted to get away from the homestead today. There's like a time warp over my place, man. I looked at my calendar this morning and I'm like, holy cow, it's pretty much the end of February, and that's pretty wild for me. It seems like time just keeps slipping. And so the other night I was building a fire and I saw a little piece of kindling that caught my eye and I was like, wow, that's a cool stick. So I busted out my pocket knife and I smoothed it out real quick, and then the next morning I started whittling on it. That would have been yesterday. And I pretty much got stuck whittling all day long yesterday. And it kind of got me to thinking about how, I don't know, man. I don't stay too connected with the knife community anymore these days or nothing. Bunch of fucking weirdos. It's like you'll pay a dropout meter maid from Mexico $500 to stab a pig, but you won't spend $500 on a gym membership. But those are conversations I've had with a buddy of mine. But yeah, it got me to thinking that there's so much more to knives than the new super steel and the new locking action and the brand and how many linear feet of cardboard they can cut. And I think people get so caught up in busting that consumer nut every chance they get. I mean, it's obvious. Every knife website has a paying for. It's like, don't want to drop a couple $100 on a knife, Holmes? Drop $50 on a knife. Oh yeah, and then a couple weeks from now, you're gonna drop another $50 on a knife. Oh, and so on and so forth. Don't forget your free subscription to Weirdo TV. You know what I mean? Consumerism. And I got to thinking, do people even use or get to know these knives or get to handle them in any way or get any muscle memory with them? I mean, what do people do with knives nowadays? Cut linear feet of cardboard? Take pictures of them? Make videos about them? Send them around to each other? Chinese flea market on the internet? Straight up. But in my opinion, the best way you could get to know a knife, whether it be a fixed blade or a little folding knife like this or whatever, is to get to whittling with it. And be careful. Cut away from yourself. Don't have your thighs in the way. Don't have any other body parts in the way. Cut away from yourself, especially when you're in the wilderness. You don't want to end up with Dave Paulides talking about you. You know what I'm saying? Because one slip, you're coyote food. But whittling, I think, is a good pastime. And, about close to a decade ago now, about 8 or 9 years ago, when the fidget spinners and crap like that, fidget spinners mostly, they hit the knife scene for some reason. A bunch of grown-ass men buying Timascus, chunk of Timascus with a bearing in it. And it's like, dude, I never saw that. I never got the point in that. 'Cause it's like, dude, you got a knife, dude. You don't know how to whittle? I don't know. My folks originally started out in the Ozarks and have ended up eventually in Nevada. My parent folks, you know. I've been in Nevada my whole life. But those guys, my grandfather, there's all kinds of rad stuff around my family home that my mom lives in. Like a cool, like 10-foot long, big old link chain, wooden chain that he whittled with his pocket knife. A little slip joint, whatever he had, like Barlow-ish. And he whittled that whole like 10-foot long chain with about 4-inch by 4-inch lengths. He whittled a bunch of those in life, but that's like between the kitchen and living room of my mom's house. And when I was a kid, we'd go fishing, and we'd be sitting by the creek, and my dad would grab a piece of willow, and he'd with his little bitty pocket knife and make us whistles real quick. Willow whistles are pretty cool. Something you can make, you know. And when you're in the zone here, I'm just kind of scraping the wood, not really painting it, and cutting little corners I see in this light on this. I'm not really purposefully whittling right now, because for me, the point of whittling is I just get out in the zone, man. I don't think about nothing. I just want to see like how this turns out, you know, because I don't draw nothing. I'm like that with everything I do. I don't draw nothing. I don't measure nothing. I just do it. And if you mess up along the way, well, wah. Yeah. I think today, this episode of Knife Time with Uncle Junk is brought to you by whittling. I think you should get into it. There's all kinds of special whittling knives and stuff, but for me, and I've had people get me special whittling knives, and I've bought a couple and stuff, and you know what they do? They sit in my junk drawer and they collect fucking dust. Because for me, because I believe what I witnessed all through growing up is that old, like, it's like that old survivor knife adage, you know? The best survival knife is the knife you got on you. The best whittling knife is the knife you got on you. I whittled the whole thing last week with my Kaiser Southwest. Southwest. Oh, and I read my comments, and I saw that somebody found one. They tracked one down. Good for you. Let me know how you like it. That's a pretty cool knife. It's on me right now. That is my new favorite knife for some reason. $28 Amazon special China knife. But yeah, thank you, Mr. Styles, for designing that. Hopefully, maybe Kaiser will bring that back one day. Bring it back. So, yeah, a lot of knife stuff. Let's see. I am coming up on my 15th year of my personal knife brand that I came up with officially. It's come up on 15 years. Junk Knives. I've been making knives ever since I was little, sneaking into the garage. My dad made a knife when I was a kid. And that just led me to the belief that if you're a dude, you make knives. So throughout my youth, from time to time, I'd make a knife here, I'd make a knife there. Files. Because, you know, ooh, good German steel. Nobody will miss this. vintage German steel file. It needs to be a dagger. And that's what would happen. It's not a rattlesnake, it's a leaf. It's too cold for rattlesnakes. Today's a beautiful day, though. Thank you, Greta, for the global warming. Appreciate that, bitch. Yeah. So, yeah. I think that really I really think one of the best ways you can learn a knife is by whittling. When I originally got a Glock 81 knife, it's a Glock field knife with a saw back. I would whittle with that big old long thing all the time, just to prove a point that you can whittle with just about anything. I've whittled with I will whittle with, or have whittled with, every knife I own, except for one, because it would not, the tip would not withstand my whittling methods. I'll show you that knife one of these days. But yeah, here we are. And I have a feeling this little blip of nice weather is like a little calm before the storm. They say, in like a lamb, out like a lion, and vice versa. And it's been a very, very mellow winter, except for the wind here in northern Nevada. And I keep waiting for something to happen, because something always happens. It's just going to be probably a late winter, unfortunately. But that'll give me more time to get some projects done and such, I reckon. Because once the weather's nice, I can't sit still. Yeah. So whittling. That's the subject today. Look at that. Mommer. See? Yeah. Little light piece of pine kindling. Something to do.